Good day everyone and welcome to Exile News, the weekly show that brings you all the important news and informations on Path of Exile. And very early this week, GGG came at us with a lot of improvements that they planned to do, and what they were working on to improve the league mechanic, because players really found it underwhelming. Of course, this is the majority of players. Top 1%ers will find a way to break the game regardless, so it doesn't really matter too much to them. But yeah, to us, these are huge improvements, and some of those have just already been released, some not, and they will be released soon enough. And well, if you've heard some of the interviews and if you've read around, basically Mark said that after they released the game, it was a national holiday. So basically they were running a skeleton crew as always, or basically not even running a crew, like everyone was on vacation. And that's why it took all of the weekend and some more days to actually start working on those. Although the broad scope of all of these changes kind of looked like they already had some of those pre-planned. And we also know that GGG tends to go on the harder side and rougher side of things, because they understood many leagues ago that it is much easier to start very hard and then buff things so that people will be complaining at the beginning, but then they will be happy and they will return to the game, rather than having a huge amount of things drop at the beginning and then they have to nerf it and people just get mad and quit. So the first option actually works better in the long term. So that's what they're doing every single time, although it's becoming a little bit annoying. And I think, honestly, part of this can be fixed by improving the league mechanic in acts rather than in maps. And I know that many people just rushes to maps, but I believe that is not majority of players. Like, most players actually play through the content and try their own skills and their own build early in acts, even though it's not the most efficient thing, but you just want to play with your build. There's nothing strange about that. And the fact that the league mechanic was basically trash throughout the game until like later on really brought to this situation where GG had to buff it all around. So there's a lot of buffs, and we already got the first patch, which has a lot of improvements. Bigger ones are the ability to itemize these corpses as they drop, so you don't have to put them into the morgue and then go buy a coffin. Coffins don't exist anymore, and itemizing corpses is also free, so that's a good one. Another huge one is the ability to select a base type when crafting, because a lot of people were complaining about the fact that if you do not choose your own base, you can get an awesome craft, but if it's on a shit base, it's not going to be a good tier thing. So yeah, this is a very good one. They also added a lot of full flames, and they improved a lot of mods that you could get into the crafting. And they also improved mods that you can find in maps, and reduced some of the mods that of the negative ones that you could find everywhere. For example, the always stun enemies have been reduced a little bit, which honestly makes sense, because while it was obvious that this was a very dangerous mod, it's really hard to do anything about it when you are, for example, still in acts. Of course, when you get to maps, you have to understand that you have to prepare your character in certain ways. That's the same for example, corrupted blood and other things, so that can make sense in higher tier, but in lower tier and acts, well, that's way too much probably. And they also increased the amount of drops given by the old flames, so basically now people are trying to fish for the right conditions. Like, if you get some monsters drop a certain currency item, for example divines, then you can really make a bank with some tricks, like putting everything into strong boxes and then turning packs into, for example, rats or frogs, and you will be getting a lot of items that way, which, I mean, sounds fine, but unlike previous league where you could just choose how much you buffed the monsters in the map, so you knew how hard it will be and how rewarding it will be. Instead, this time you're just waiting to get the correct mod on a map, which is completely random. So yeah, I don't know about this, but still, League's been a little bit better lately thanks to the patches. So we'll see how that goes in the future. Also, some tier 17 maps have been like slightly nerfed. That's probably because right now they feel like Uber versions of everything. So yeah, they're not really stepping stones at the moment, but we'll see when more players get there. Though that's what you can see from a couple people playing in Standard. There's also some bug fixes, which of course are always good. And we got a very nice community showcase, just to change a little bit in the news. And well, there's a lot of art, which is pretty good. And there's also a very nice Inua totem here. It's actually a craft rather than just painted, so that is pretty nice as well. And the Necropolis launch live updates thread has of course been improved. If you have any problems, you might see if it's over here. Also, you can see beside day 1 up to day 5 there really isn't much here, so the launch was actually quite smooth, and I cannot tell if it's because not too many players logged in or remained logged in throughout, but it looks like this has been a very smooth launch from GGG, which is definitely nice to see. And I guess that was all for this week, so if you enjoyed the video, leave a like and a comment down below. Also, if you want to remain updated every week, be sure to subscribe to my channel. That was all, I've been your host Giorgio, and I'll see you guys the next time.